All right. Well, welcome everybody to the show. This is the 3H podcast. This is something that me and Chase have been wanting to do for a while now. Not only do we think it was fun, but we also wanted to be able to kind of connect with the audience in a different way. You know, when you come in the shop, you don't necessarily always get to sit down and talk to us or get a whole lot of in-depth information from us. You know, we're mainly there working in business, but we figured a podcast and a show is not only something we've been wanting to do for a while, but something that would be able to reach out to, you know, our audience and customers and just kind of give some behind the doors, behind the scenes kind of insight to not only us, but the shop overall. So, you know, kind of our goal for this show, we definitely want to, you know, keep it firearms related, but we'll plan on having different guests, different people in here at times too, to try to just have different topics and just different shows from time to time. It's just not all going to be about guns every single time. But I'm Graham,
Chase.
and we're at 3H Tactical. 3H Tactical, if you're not aware, it's 3H Tactical and Gunsmithing. We're located in Centerville, Arkansas. We are a full-service custom gun shop. Chase, you want to kind of expand on that?
Yeah, I think like Graham said, the main goal here is to just to want to relate to our customers a little more. We don't always have time to sit down and talk with y'all, and sometimes you may feel a little rushed when you're there, and I know we do a lot of times, especially during hunting season when we're really busy. We got 10,000 things going on in the back. That's the that's the big difference for us is, we're not just a gun shop that sells guns. We also have 10,000 things going on in the back. So if you come in the shop and, we just look busy and don't take it anything personal because our minds are running 10,000 miles an hour on how many tasks we got to get done in the back while we're talking to you, and just
I agree.
So this is something that we've been wanting to do just to let people know that we do care and we do want to talk to with y'all and let y'all know where we're from and where we're coming from. So,
And me and Joe actually just had that conversation. Joe's our in-house leather guy with dying breed leather. He'll be on a future show, but and anybody that's been in the shop knows Joe. But we had that same conversation. I know there's times that people, if it was up to us, man, we would sit down and we would. I mean, that's just the way, me and Chase and growing up and just with everybody and even with our friends. We'd sit down and talk all day long, man. People, especially someone comes in and talks about going elk hunting in Colorado. Shoot, we could sit there all day and talk. Or coyote calling, I could sit there and talk for 2 hours that day. But I'd be lying if I said in the back of my mind the whole time we're sitting there talking to you, we're thinking about 7 other projects we got in the back ready to go. So there's a fine line there. We want everybody to come in. We want everybody to feel welcome at the shop, sit down, talk, pull up a stool and talk. On the other hand, we don't want customers waiting 2 months to get the guns back too. So
yeah, it's a devil's advocate.
It is. We could sit right up front and just talk to everybody all the time. We would, but we're trying to be efficient in there too. So yeah. But so everybody knows. Anybody that knows, I've been in the shop, knows who we are, knows what we're doing, knows we're a gun shop, and knows what all we do there. But what about somebody who's never heard of us, never heard of 3H Tactical, never been in? What would you tell them? What would be the number one thing that you tell them that we are?
Well, first word that comes to mind is full service gun shop. Like I said, my goal from day one when I started this back in 2016. That's a lot of the viewers and a lot of people that come to our shop think that we've been open for 3 years, which is how long I've had my storefront. But we actually started in 2016 when I got my first business license and started 3H Tactical, March of 2016. So real close to my birthday. But yeah, man, our ultimate goal the entire time was to be a place that somebody could come in no matter what you needed on a firearm, and we was the shop to go to and be able to do anything that it requires to get you back going, whether it's restoring a family heirloom back to new again, or making something new cool like the new tactical lever guns. That's something new right now that everybody's doing, or whatever it is. Go from old school to modern, whatever you want.
Don't get me wrong. There's a few things in the shop we still want to add and do, but I think
Absolutely.
we are very, very, very close to being about as full service as you can possibly get. I mean, from buying, purchasing new guns and firearms to, like you said, restoring old and everything in between, customization. we can do pretty much everything in house, and that's not, you don't find that very often anywhere.
Yeah,
Under one roof.
that's the thing. Under one roof, there's multiple places that sell guns. There's Bailey Signature Firearms, which does
Yep,
amazing machine
absolutely.
work and does
He's
great
great.
jobs up there. But
Shout out to
nobody
Bob Bailey.
does. Yeah, shout out to Bob
Hmm.
Bailey. Nobody does hydro dipping, Cerakoting, laser engraving, thread and barrels, optics cuts, all the machine work. Drill and tapping for red dots on turkey season. We got turkey season coming up. That's going to be a huge one. We've done a bunch of that. We're NFA dealers, sell suppressors, do all the paperwork for that. We're do everything in house too, so you don't have to go here and get fingerprints and go here and get a photo. We do everything in house, and build custom ARs. We got stuff on the shelf where you can build your own, or we can help you build them, or whatever you want to do. So really, I mean, we got we got the laser engraver going with the fiber. We're working to get a CO2 to be able to do wood. I mean, we're just we're steadily thinking on more and more things that we can do to every time for years people would call the shop and be like, "Hey, can you do this?" And it just hurt me every time. I
Hmm.
was like, "No, I can't do
Yep.
that." But I never said no. We're not going to do that. I said, "No, I can't right now."
Yep.
But in the future, we're working toward that,
Well, a
and
lot of
that's been
people.
my goal every time somebody asks me if I can do something. Is to, hey, I can't do it right now, but I'm working toward that because I don't want to that answer of no, I can't do it
Yep.
just bothers me.
And Chase isn't going to tell you all this, but I'll tell you. And there's a lot of times people come in and ask if we can do something that we're telling people no, that we're already doing in the back. We're just perfecting it. We're
Exactly.
either doing it to our guns, we're doing it to friends' guns, we're doing it to shop guns that threading barrels, for example. He probably threaded 30 guns before he did the first customer gun. And I honestly, I just took it in and told him we had one. He wouldn't
Yeah,
even advertising
I
it
wouldn't
yet.
even really. I wanted to do more like 100 barrels before, but luckily it was somebody we
Yeah.
knew anyway. And honestly, we didn't have as much issues as I'd planned on it, so
No.
it was
He,
going pretty smoothly. And we decided to just go and do it. But I mean, literally, we had the lathe for 4 months
yep.
before we even announced that we were doing it. That's just something
So it's
and
not
we
all
kind
about
of
just offering services. We want to not only offer a service, but we want it to be high quality too.
exactly,
Yep. And no, there's not going to be
exactly.
any issues right off the bat.
And don't get me wrong, by no means are we saying we're perfect or
No,
anything like that. We still make mistakes,
absolutely.
but the goal is to never make the same mistake twice.
Yep. Yep.
So if we figure out there's something wrong or something going on in the shop, we try to address it and fix the issue as fast as possible,
Hmm.
compensate the customer for any lost needs or anything like
And
that.
with
So
that said, if you're a customer of ours and you do have a problem or an issue with something we've done, absolutely call us. Let us know.
yeah,
Bring it in.
that's the biggest
Hmm.
deal that we run into is I try to do my best by every customer, and I truly do care about our customers and clients. So if you do have an issue, please tell me. Don't go, saying stuff behind her back or whatever or anything like that. Just come and tell me, and I'm not going to be mad or
We're
upset.
gonna make it right.
I just want to make it right.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing because I really do care and I care about a reputation and it's taken me almost 10
Yep.
years to get to this point
Yep.
and I
I
don't
mean, we do this because we love it, and
exactly.
we truly love it and enjoy it. I mean, we could probably, I mean, no mystery here. Go get other jobs that paid more money.
And there's no
Yeah,
doubt for me.
but
But
we absolutely love
yeah,
this, and we love doing this, and love the customers. And part of doing this is making our customers happy when they walk out with a you know full gun, custom AR front to back that we've Cerakoted and built the whole entire gun. It's a sense of pride when they pick that thing up and they, wow, all of a sudden that's a pretty cool feeling.
or you get those customers, that had we've gotten several in lately, the ones that were stored underneath the
Yep.
bed or in the corner and rusted to pieces, and
House
they think
fires.
house fires, and they think they'll never, be able to use the gun
Yep.
again, and they bring it to us, and they're like, "This ain't my gun." I'm
Yep.
like, "Yeah, it is.
Brand new.
It looks brand new."
Hmm.
And that sense of accomplishment is just something that really keeps us going and keeps us motivated.
Yep.
So
So kind of let's expand on how you kind of got started. And we were talking about this before the show started. I don't know that I even really know this story. I know where you started and kind of when you started, but for those that don't know or don't know this backstory of Chase and 3H Tactical, kind of give us the backstory. How did you get started or interested, or how did you even become interested or involved in gunsmithing and then eventually into other aspects?
Well, I think I grew up, I had a gun in my hand when I was old enough to walk, and same with a bow and everything, just everything outdoors, fishing, whole 9 yards. And, I grew up hunting and hunted everything underneath the sun. Um, but I would say that my interest in more intricate firearms other than just standard bolt guns or shotguns came probably with the military. I joined at 17, served 11 years in the Guard, and it was probably about halfway through my career where I just really got into ARs and stuff like that. And I decided that I wanted to build a couple and for myself. And so I built some, and my military buddies seemed to really like it. And they're like, "Man, can you build me one?" Well, when I got into all this, there was certain things, head spacing and stuff that I didn't really know much about or at the time and everything. And when I got to asking around, finding a gunsmith was pretty hard.
So you're just doing this, got your kind of at the house
I
on your
was
free
doing
time.
this. I didn't even have a shed at the
Yep.
time. And so I started asking around for gunsmiths, try to get some pointers and stuff. And there were just, there was three. There was AJ Price, Quentin Freeman, and Frank Reynolds. And Frank Reynolds was the one that was willing to kind of take me in and show me the ropes a little bit. So I decided that I was going to go to gunsmithing school because I just had enough of my friends ask me to build these ARs, and I was kind of getting into it. And so I started. I had this little wooden shed outside my trailer house that I lived in that my dad had built 20 years ago. You know what I mean? I mean, literally made out of like cedar slats on the side. Just rough cut old shed.
Concrete floor.
I didn't even have concrete floors, man. It had dirt floors. Seriously, I'm not joking. And I ended up pouring a little pad by
Awesome.
hand. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Probably a 6 foot wide, just big enough to put my toolbox on and
Yep.
a little workbench. Didn't have no heat or air conditioner or nothing like that. And I built some ARs out of there for probably a good 6 months while I was going to gunsmithing school and stuff like that. And once I completed gunsmithing school, I apprenticeshiped with Frank Reynolds. He was
Okay.
willing to help me out, and I spent some time with Frank, and he kind of showed me the ropes. He was really good on revolvers and 1911s. I mean, that was his bread and butter. The AR stuff, honestly, he didn't deal with a lot. He was more into the older stuff. So the background in the military helped me on the ARs, and he helped me on some of the older stuff. And I graduated gunsmithing school, and from that, I decided I was going to get my business license and go into all that. And I got my business license and opened up. I built a 20 by 20 shop at my house, red iron building, and we opened that up in 2016, March of
Okay.
2016. So I moved from the wooden shed
From the
to
old wooden
yep
shed.
to the
Yeah.
something with concrete floors. Still didn't have
Thought you
heating
were
or air.
uptown.
Still didn't have heating or air, man. I was, after about 6 months, I think I Cerakoted my first gun in 2017.
So
Well, I
you
guess it's about a year.
so you Cerakote your first gun 6 months after just getting started.
Well, it's probably closer to a year. It was
Okay. Well, that's
2017,
still
I
pretty
think.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What and that was when Cerakoting, nobody really even knew what it was
Right.
back then. You know
Right.
what I mean? I mean, nobody had even heard of it.
Airbrush or
Yeah,
hold
yeah. I literally had
automatic.
which I was, doing all the research on my own.
Right.
So I seen that you had to have a .08 needle size. The only thing I could find is like a little airbrush. So I would fill like an airbrush up with a little bitty cap that big and try to Cerakote a whole gun,
Yep.
man.
Feel
Which
that
I
sucker.
started with pistols and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and then I was using an old household oven to bake stuff in, and you can only do certain parts like ARs. You'd have
Yep.
to take apart and hang them in there a certain way, and all that stuff. And
What would Chase Holt now think about one of those finished products?
I
In?
definitely would not let it. Yeah,
Would
yeah,
we be redoing it?
yeah. We'd be
Yeah.
redoing it. Yeah, I'd be cussing myself.
Man, so hanging guns in a oven in the kitchen.
Well,
Okay.
I bought a new kitchen oven.
Okay.
I took my old kitchen oven out to the shop and
That's
put
a
it
good
out
idea.
there.
Yeah.
And did that. Which the bad thing was, now we have a nice fancy paint
Oh,
booth with
yeah.
all this ventilation,
Oh, yeah.
and we wear masks and all this stuff.
Autoclave that we could step into.
Yep,
That size.
all this stuff. Back then,
What would you have thought then if you knew we could
oh,
end up with?
I probably have cancer already. I'm just being honest with you. Because seriously, we had this 20 by 20 shop, and all I had was one big bay door, and my ventilation was opening the bay door, and
Just
I'd
letting
paint
it
in the
drift
same
up.
place where I was working, and you know what I mean. I'd Cerakote for like 2 hours, and it'd just be a whole mist of cloud in that shop.
Just
And I'd have to put,
overspray everywhere.
yeah, I'd have to put a fan in the one window I have and blow it out the bay door, and that was only
Hey man, but
ventilation
that's
I
at the
have.
time. That's what you had.
Yep.
That's how you were learning. That's you just made do what you had, and you get by.
Yep.
You know, it's funny now, but looking back at the time,
It wasn't funny, I'll be honest
right,
with you.
exactly. But looking back at the
Yeah.
time, you were doing what you had to
I mean,
do
hey,
to
man,
get going.
I literally, the only person that helped me out, Dusty George, George Termite and Pest Control. He's a good buddy of mine, and he loaned me $1,000 to pay for my gunsmithing school, and
That's awesome.
some of the only help I've received over the years. And you know, other than that, I've I don't have any partners. We're here almost 9 years later, and no partners or nothing like that. And I sure wasn't born with money, and most of you that know me know that.
Yep.
I grew up in trailer houses my whole life with no central heat and air, and so it was when you grow up with no money, the work ethic you create, I think, is
Yep.
just what makes it to where it don't matter how you do it, just do it.
Yep.
Just get it done. And that's what helped me get through a lot of that stuff, because like I said, I mean, I didn't have heating or air even in that shop, so I'd be sweating, try not to drip sweat, on my projects while I'm painting and stuff,
You're
and
dripping
it
onto
was,
your fresh paint.
I seriously, I did a couple times and had to completely redo
Yeah.
jobs.
Did
And
you have sandblaster at that time?
I had the old Harbor Freight
Oh, okay.
special.
Yep.
Yep.
Little
Had the
small
old Harbor.
cabinet.
Yep.
Yep.
Small cabinet. So it'd take me about 3 hours to
Oh,
sandblast one part.
man.
And oh yeah, my pay back then was really low. I was probably making about $2 an hour
Yeah.
when I first started doing this. But
So when you get into gunsmithing, you graduated from gunsmithing school and started taking guns in to fix.
mhm.
We're not really doing a whole lot of custom work right off the bat or building ARs, but how did you segue? I guess what I'm saying is, how did you segue in from gunsmithing to more Cerakoting and custom gun work, custom gun designs? Is it just something people asking you, or you were interested in? Kind of how did that segue occur there?
Well, that's kind of it, man. The customers have really always
Yeah.
pushed me to do the new things.
Yeah.
When I first started, I just wanted to build ARs and gunsmith. I truly enjoyed fixing guns that might not have ever worked again. That was something that I took pride in, and really didn't. There was a lot of people, like I said, there was a few old timey gunsmiths that were on their way out of retirement that are no longer. I mean, the three guys that I just mentioned are literally no longer here
Yep.
anymore. I mean, they are here, but
Not
they're no
taking in
longer
work.
gunsmithing. I mean, they're AJ Price is I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if he's still alive, but he's 80s and 90 years old. You know what I mean? And Frank's, he's had some health issues. Same thing with Quentin. So they both stopped gunsmithing and stuff. But like I said, yeah, the main thing was the customers brought me to do more things. I wanted to Cerakote on my own because
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, and
Yeah.
I was like, I want to paint one of my own guns. And then I did it, and then somebody seen it, and they're like, man, can you paint mine? And then that's how it kind of slowly has rolled. And then I've always listened to my customers. When somebody comes in and asks me if I can do something, if I get maybe two or three asking me the same thing, I was like, man, I need to try
Learn
to do that.
Yep. Yep.
So that's kind of how I started, and how I picked what we were going to start learning how to do and doing it first is by just listening to the customers.
Yep. So for those that don't know, they're listening right now, that are wondering what we're talking about from gunsmithing to Cerakoting, explain what Cerakoting is for maybe somebody that just doesn't know.
So Cerakote is a ceramic coating. That's where Cera comes from, ceramic. But it is a bake-on coating, which they have different ones. They have C Series, which is air cure. You use it on like they have the Glacier Series now, which is for suppressors. Any item that gets really, really hot, your C Series is probably the better. But
Use a lot on manifolds and cars.
manifolds on cars,
pistons, top of pistons.
Yep. For us, it's suppressors.
Suppressors.
But then they have the H series, which is the pretty much the standard, where you heat it in the oven at 250 degrees, and basically it opens up the pores of the metal, and then that ceramic paint really gets into the metal and makes it to where it lasts a really long time. And the benefit over Cerakote versus bluing, we get asked if we blue all the time. Well, we have this gloss black Cerakote that looks just like bluing when it comes out, but it will never rust again.
No.
The thing about bluing is, I don't care if you do the best bluing job in the entire world,
Yep.
it's going to look really good. But if you touch it, it gets
Yep.
any moisture or anything like that, it's going to rust again
Yep.
very quickly, actually.
Yep.
It's kind of like getting a flu shot before you get the flu. You know what I mean? A bluing is a rust preventative, but eventually it's going to rust again.
Yep.
You know, so with
And it
Cerakote,
wears off.
it does
yeah.
wear off.
Even the best bluing.
Even the best bluing will eventually wear. It can rub on your seat of your truck.
Yep.
A bunch of people ride around with their guns in their
Yep.
trucks, and just right where it'll rub it.
Yep.
Back to silver. But with Cerakote, you never have to worry about that. The only thing you can do with Cerakote is you can scratch it, but it will only be the scratch you put on it. It'll never peel. It'll never flake. It'll never do anything. And the thing about Cerakote is also you don't just have one option of colors.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally hundreds of
Yeah.
colors.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's like when you ask your wife, what color pink that is, and she says some pink you never even heard of. That's how Cerakote is. They got 12 different pinks, 12 different greens, 12 different
it's
oranges.
overwhelming. The color
It
palettes are
really
overwhelming.
is.
I don't even know how many colors that they offer total, but I know our color swatch palettes at the shop, we probably got over 400 colors just hanging on rings out there.
Yeah,
Yep.
at least, and we probably got 200 and something colors in the
Yep.
that we have in stock.
And the cool thing about it is too, we can spray it in layers and create, which everybody knows that is familiar with Cerakote, but create designs and patterns with that. Anything from intricate patterns to camo patterns to images. Now we've got a brand new vinyl cutter we're figuring out right now, and logos and images. We should be able to cut out the stencil of, put it on there, and layer that stencil per color each time, and even create intricate images on there too. So
well, that was the goal of buying the new vinyl cutter that we're talking about. Is to Graham's been running the laser for me for a while now, and he's been doing a great job. And what he can go and do is create his own images in Adobe. Well, the way this vinyl cutter works is you can go in there and create whatever images you want, custom designed images in Adobe, and then print it onto with the vinyl cutter, and then I can Cerakote that image. You know what I mean?
Look at what
or
color.
different camo patterns. We can create our own camo patterns, whatever it is.
So, yep.
And that's kind of the last piece of the puzzle to the Cerakote deal, because we've I went to Cerakote school and got certified and everything else. Back in March of this year, got Cerakote certified, and we've been just slowly perfecting that trade and trying to get to to the best of our abilities.
Yep. So you were certified in March.
Mm-hmm.
By March 2023, 2024?
2024.
2024.
Yep.
I know when I came on board in April, you just came back from school. By August or September, maybe not even that long, we were already the number one rated Cerakote applicator in the state. And then shortly after that, number 3 in like a 4-state region.
6-state region.
6-state region.
Yep.
So we're not done, but we're climbing pretty quick.
We're still climbing the totem pole.
And that's just not us going on there and saying we are. That's, independently reviewed projects that Cerakote is approving. They look at every project. They're not going to post a project on there that's not up to their standards. And then the customer has to go and leave a review. It's a lengthy process to just get one project on there approved and okayed.
You have to submit the project that you painted, and Cerakote has to approve that it was an authentic job, not something you copied or whatever. And then then you have to request the customer to leave a review, and some do and some don't. I mean, we have over 100 projects on there, and 60 something reviews.
It's pretty cool. The other day, me and Joe got on there. I was actually looking for some resources on Cerakote to help set up the new vinyl cutter. I went over to the gallery and went over the photos, and I clicked gallery just to look at some guns. We're always looking at Cerakote guns, looking at other people's work, and just some of it's just amazing, really. But clicked on there, and literally on the first page, 3 guns on the first page were from our shop. Me and Joe were like, "Wow, look at that! That's pretty cool." That's pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope to, just keep climbing up the totem pole, and eventually, being number 1 in the region and working our way up. There's some really good companies. We actually trained with Weapon Works, and that's who I went to train with, and they're phenomenal Cerakote artists. And one of the people that we followed over the years that really gave me inspiration also was Blown Deadline, which the owner of that passed away this last year. But I mean, he done some absolutely amazing work, and they do some killer work. But they definitely haven't those two companies are probably the top two that really changed the Cerakote world as far as patterns.
Yep.
It used to Cerakote, nobody really painted any patterns when it first started. Just some simplistic stuff. But they're the ones that really innovated it to some really cool custom paint jobs, how to blend your camo patterns instead of having edges on it and everything else. And they're the ones that really created Cerakote to the gun industry that it is today.
Yeah. It's wild. And I'm of course, think we do some really good work. Chase is never going to say that, but I think some of the stuff we do there is really freaking cool. And I'll even get on the Cerakote website sometimes and look at featured products and look at some of the stuff some of these people are doing. And they may not do a lot of work, but they may do some one-off stuff that's just unreal. It's just It's cool. The possibilities. We tell people this all the time to come in the shop, and they're like, "Well, what can you guys do?" Man, your imagination is basically our limit. We can pretty much do anything. And a lot of times that's the hardest part about a new project is figuring out something new or different that's A, going to look good, and B, going to, be interesting.
Yeah,
Get started.
I think that's probably the biggest thing is because we get so many customers, and like I said, he's our laser guy. He runs a laser, and I do most of Cerakoting. But we have customers come in, they're like, just whatever you think. And we're like, man,
Yeah.
we have done so many of these whatever you think projects. I'm about whatever you think out. You know what I mean? Just being
you
honest
give
with
us
you.
a direction and a color, and we'll take it and
Yeah,
run.
if you can just please give us a concept or a
exactly.
picture of something that you like or something to start with, you know what I mean? Because we've done, we have over 1,200 customers that we've serviced over the years, and or actually that's probably in the last 3 years, and that's different people and everything, and we've done probably over 2,000 projects. We work on about 1,000 guns a year on average. That's from gunsmithing to Cerakoting to laser engraving or whatever. That's about our workload average. I wish we could get more. We have a safe full of guns right now that we need to be doing, but the biggest and that's the I think that's the biggest thing is we want to do more custom projects like what we talked about, and those one-offs like we see some of those guys do, but having the time and availability at this point is just we're in some pretty serious growing pains as far as making time for all the different projects we do in the shop.
We're busy. We're very thankful to be busy, but it does come with some sacrifice as far as what we're able to. There's only so many hours in a day, and what we're able to allot those hours for gets ate up pretty quick the busier we get. A lot of things we would like to learn too. Me specifically on the laser that I have learned a lot, and we are doing a lot with the laser, but there's still a ton of more out there that I can learn to do. And right now we're just struggling to keep our head above water and get not our head above water. We're doing good. Christmas is always crazy, but learning anything new right now is kind of on the back burner, So we're trying, and we'll get there. But
yeah, that's that's the thing. We have a lot of aspirations and a lot of dreams and stuff we want to do, like adding a CO2 laser and adding a CNC machine eventually, and there's a lot of big dreams out there that we have and we want to do. But like you said, at this point we're so overwhelmed and very blessed. We're not at all complaining about the amount of customers and work we have. We're extremely blessed and thankful for every person that comes in our store and every project we get to work on. Just like any job, you have your days where you're like, man, I'm tired.
Hey, well, I'm just going to say, we were close and talked a lot, and I knew quite a bit about the shop before I came on board full time as far as just daily operations in the back, but I never dreamed we'd have the foot traffic that we do in the storefront at the shop in Centerville, Arkansas every day. I really didn't,
Well, and it's gotten a lot more since you've been there, honestly. We really took off this year, I feel like. And the biggest struggle for us, is since we are in Centerville, Arkansas, is getting our name out there.
Yeah.
There's people right here in Russellville, Arkansas, that's never even heard of us.
Right.
And Dardanelle. Dardanelle, in my hometown. I grew up there my whole entire life. Graduated from Dardanelle High School. Never left, you know what I mean? Well, I left for the military, but I came back and, I mean, and then there's still people that never even
Yep.
heard about us, or even people I've had people still that knows me and don't know that I'm doing this, or it's at the level that we are doing it out there. Which,
Yep.
and it's just one of those deals. It's so hard to get our name out there because of Facebook and Instagram and some of these people who are anti 2A that just doesn't allow us
Yep.
to voice. And
Yep.
and the craziest thing about the whole thing is I have a federal firearms license and a special occupations tax, which allows me to legally sell and do everything that I do by the federal government. But Facebook doesn't
Which
like
costs
it,
money, by the way.
which costs a lot of
Yeah.
money,
Yeah. We got.
and
Yeah.
we're actually manufacturer
Yeah.
of both, so we can manufacture our own firearms, we can manufacture our own suppressors, which again is something we would like to
Long
get
term
into one
goal.
day,
Yep.
but
Mm-hmm.
we just got to get to that point. Like I said, we wasn't born with money in this business, and we're slowly making money and putting the money back into it as we go.
Yep.
And that's how we're having to grow this thing. We don't have
Yep.
$100,000 lines of credit at the bank or anything like that. We're just plugging away out of my little old pocket every day and hoping we make it.
So we've covered Cerakote extensively, but let's cover some other stuff that we actually offer at the shop, and then we'll kind of move on. But Cerakoting, gunsmithing, Cerakoting, probably our bread and butter. Working on guns, fixing guns, absolutely taking in a couple of gunsmithing guns every day, and then we're Cerakoting. When we're able to get there in the back, we're probably Cerakoting just about every day.
we could be,
Could be
for
bread and
sure.
butter, but other things we're offering, hydro dipping, big, especially with turkey season coming up. That's probably our biggest hydro dipping season, don't you think?
Turkey season
Yeah.
is for sure.
Yeah.
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 We do a ton of shotguns
But
for
hydro
turkey
dipping,
season.
that allows us to be able to do more intricate camo patterns, say like mossy oak specific camo patterns, burl tree specific camo patterns in that year that we could Cerakote, but take a lot more time, more paint, a little bit more expensive when we can actually hydro dip those stocks with these transfer films, get the same pattern result, and really the goal is to save us time and stencil work and the customer money on that. So
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say we could Cerakote every pattern, but
well,
some
no,
of
not
those are
every
really
pattern,
complicated.
but yeah, exactly.
I mean, we can definitely Cerakote like old school
Yep.
bottomland. Some of the more simplistic
Gear.
patterns, Nat Gear.
Yep.
We probably could. Not the SC2. It's
No.
pretty complicated. But you know what I mean. The biggest thing is those are licensed films, and they are exactly the camo pattern that you want. So if you want to match one of your camos that you wear every day, definitely hydro dipping is the way to go. And that's I think the thing that has set us off on the hydro dipping world, and we've actually had stuff shipped all over the U.S. We've had stuff shipped from Michigan, Maine, New Jersey, most of the East Coast up there. I don't know if there's just not much up there, which I may not because they're not very 2A friendly up in
Yeah.
that area. But what has set us apart is when I went and got Cerakote certified, they taught me that there's a clear coat that you can put that they specifically designed to put over hydro dip. Well, what it does is it basically makes your hydro dip almost as durable as your Cerakote, which is a game changer because over years and years of duck hunting, I abused a lot of guns. And I would get cracks in my hydro dip film and then get water behind it, and it would rust behind your hydro dip where it cracked and bubbled and everything else over time. So I was absolutely a huge advocate against hydro dipping for years because of that, and that's why I didn't do it for many years. People asked me to, is because I thought Cerakote was a better product. I
Yeah.
still do.
Right.
Still do think Cerakote is a better product, and that's why anytime somebody asks what we would recommend, we always recommend Cerakote on the metal and hydro dip on the stocks because your stocks ain't going to rust or do anything anyway. They're plastic
Yep.
or wood. We can
Yep.
even hydro dip wood.
Yep.
But the biggest thing with that is now we put this Cerakote clear coat over the top of our hydrographic films, and it makes it durable like Cerakote, and it is also UV resistant, which is a big thing. You see those ones that gets left outside or whatever and starts fading your camo, and ours will not do that anymore.
Or just sitting in the truck, coming,
Yep.
sun coming through the
Sun
window
coming
of the
through
truck.
the windows, whatever it is. So that's something that really has helped us out. And that's just something we do is we always try to adapt and overcome, figure out the best way because we are hunters and we are we do everything that y'all do. Graham is a huge predator hunter. We both go out west, go elk hunting. We deer hunt here. I duck hunted for many, many years. I still want to, but unfortunately, I picked
Bad
a
timing.
career choice that where we're busiest time of year is during hunting season, so I don't get to hunt as much as I used to. But we do all that stuff, so we want to produce products that we would use in those situations.
Yep.
And if we don't like it and it's failing us, then we're not going to do it for y'all.
Absolutely not. How many times has there been a product in the storefront that we could have carried or promoted or used, or even a firearm accessory that we could sell, but we don't believe in, or we've had bad experiences in, and we just won't carry them. Now, if someone comes specifically in the store and wants to, that's what their heart set on, that's what they want, yeah, we'll order it for them. We'll tell them, but we'll order it for them, but we're not going to put products out there or sell products that we don't believe in, or we haven't ran ourselves and don't know.
That's right. And and I hope that we haven't never offended anybody when we say that we don't carry the products, because there's certain products that we've just tried to carry and had issues out of. And with us being a full service gun shop, I don't want to sell you a product and then have to turn around and fix it for free.
Because we're going to fix it.
Yeah, we're going to fix it, and we're going to make it. That's the thing about us. If you buy a gun from us and it's not working, either we're going to do to the best of our ability to fix it, or we're going to send it back to the manufacturer and make them fix it.
Right.
Whatever it is, because we can't lose a lot of money because we didn't manufacture and we didn't mess it up to begin with. You know what I mean? So I will do my best to fix it in-house. But if it's something that's going to cost us a lot of time or money, a lot of times we'll send it back to the factory just because it's their fault to begin with. We didn't manufacture it. It's not our fault that it's broke out of the box. But we do that 2 or 3 times.
We're probably not going to carry that gun anymore.
Like Savage Rimfires, no more. Savage X's, no more. We've done this multiple times, and that's just 2 products that I'm throwing out there real quick that we've had issues with. TriStar shotguns, that's another one.
And I know there's a lot of people out there that probably hear that and like, well, I've had one that I've had for 20 years that cycles and shoots lights out, and I believe them.
I believe them, and we've sold a few that work great.
Yep.
But when 50% of the time or greater, we're having to bring them back in and rework on them, I'm not going to carry that product anymore.
Nowadays in 2025 now, in the competition in the firearms market, there's too many good gun manufacturers out there and too many good guns on the market. Then they have to be carrying a few in your store that you got constantly issues with, because there's too many of them out there that you don't.
Exactly. 90% of the time you can spend $50 more and get a product that's going to last you a lifetime and not have any issues out of. Like buying a Ruger rimfire instead of a Savage rimfire, you're going to spend $50 more, and you're never going to have issues out of that product. And that's the biggest thing is we're not by any means brand snobs or by any means anything like that. It's just with us being a full service gun shop and working on these products, it's just like a car. You go to a car dealer and buy a car, you want to talk to the mechanic, see what he's working on every day, and you don't want to buy that.
I was just about to say the same thing.
You know what I mean? That's no different than us.
He just sees it every day. We see it every day.
We are gunsmiths. We work on these things every day. The ones we see all the time, we don't want to sell.
No.
That's just simple. We want our customers to be happy and have good quality products. And if it's not a quality product, I don't want to carry it in our store.
No.
So now, granted, like I said, we will absolutely order it for you.
Absolutely.
Now we have a website that you can go to and order this stuff on your own and have it shipped directly to your house. www.3h-tactical.com. You can go to our website and literally order anything that we have available to order. You can order and have it shipped directly to your house. All of our distributors. And have it shipped directly to your house unless it's an FFL on. Then you can have it shipped to us or your local FFL if you're out of state.
And pick it right up.
Yep, and pick it right up.
Yep.
And
anything from suppressors on there?
Yeah. You can order suppressors.
Suppressors
to everything. The only 2 products really we don't have on there, or 3 products, is our Eberly stock gear.
Yeah.
We're a direct Eberly stock dealer, and we sell a bunch of their products. And our 2 tripod companies, Aziak and Tracer.
Yeah.
Those are not listed on our website yet because they don't have drop ship capabilities, but eventually we're going to add them on there and just ship them directly from our shop ourselves.
Which if any of y'all listen to this right now, haven't been in the storefront and you're interested in an ultralight tripod, whether that's a sitting height, standing height, they're absolute game changers. I mean, I hunted for since I was old enough to, like you, carry a gun with my dad, Coyote calling every single winter. Never owned a tripod my entire life. I actually swore them off, said, oh, there's just too much, too bulky. now that I have an AZAC ultralight tripod that weighs less than 2 pounds, standing height all the way to sitting height on the ground, I don't think I'll ever predator hunt without one again.
Oh no,
It's a game changer.
no, and
Yep.
I
My son to shoot off of, my wife to shoot off of it. It's not only is it 10 times more comfortable and easier in the field while you're calling, but it's a game changer shooting, especially any distances at a coyote sized target. It's a game changer.
I mean, it helped, obviously helps us out a ton. And even with us having good backgrounds and hunting and shooting guns our whole life, it's a game changer. But for the kids,
Oh yeah,
oh my gosh! I mean, there's
it's
no
worth its
way.
weight in gold.
Yeah,
Yep.
my kids can literally put a gun on a tripod and shoot 200 yards all day long.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
Confidently.
yeah, confidently. And,
Yep.
my 8-year-old son, I mean, literally can shoot 200 yards no problem with a 308.
Yep.
And it's an absolute game changer.
It is.
And
Yep.
even for turkey season coming up, you got a kid that has trouble holding up a shotgun or something like that. You put them on that tripod, and it can literally flatten out to a really low, whatever height they need to
Yep.
be at, and then you just rotate it to the turkey and pull the trigger.
Yep. We'll be making some
and-
videos and some pictures and posting some stuff online. Facebook will allow it to show kind of some what he's talking about. But there's going to be definitely some applications in the turkey woods with them. I think people hadn't really even thought about with, especially the smaller ultralight sitting height tripods. If a man just wanted to just turkey hunt off of one or sit off the ground off one, that'd be perfect. I mean, they weigh literally less, £1.5 pounds.
Yep.
And I mean, small lightweight package.
Well, that's the thing, is again, that's a product that we both enjoyed and we liked from hunting out west. So we wanted to carry them in our area. We're the only shop carrying anything like that anywhere around here. Just like the Eberly stock gear, we're the only shop carrying stuff like that. Backpacking gear, we carry stuff for Jet Bull. We carry peak refuel meals. We carry
just in my
dark
time,
energy products, with the solar panels and the stuff you can throw in your backpack and charge, and your little battery Poseidon Pro packs that last 8 years of charging. Charge your phone 4 times out in the wilderness. Yep. You know what I mean? Because me and you, literally, we go on a week-long trips where we're out in the middle with no phone service, no nothing, and we're surviving on what we carry on our backs. When
and that stuff's got to work.
And that stuff has to work.
Absolutely.
And everything that we carry in our shop is stuff we personally use.
That's the biggest thing I think I have seen since coming on board. What I have seen the biggest growth in is our storefront. Yes, absolutely. In the back, we're doing more, offering more services, but the storefront has grown tremendously. We're carrying 4 times as many products in a variety of products than we ever have. And before I came on, mostly firearm related. Now that's grown to tripods, backpacks, everything you just mentioned. The storefront right now is only limited to its size, and it's getting bigger.
Yeah, that's the deal. We are running out of room in the storefront. You know what I mean? Like I said, going through a lot of growing pains right now. And listen, the storefront is something I do want to grow and I do care a lot about. But the thing that holds me back there is money. You know what I mean? I mean,
it's expensive.
Every bit of that storefront is coming out of my pocket.
And it's sitting there until it's sitting there
until it's
sold.
What I mean? A lot of times my bank account will be negative, and I got $100,000 worth of products in the store.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I could have $100,000 in my bank or have, $100,000 on the wall. So that's the struggle is, having a storefront and having all the products in store. And I get people want to look, touch, and feel and everything. And we're slowly growing to the point where we can do more of that and carrying more products in store. But it's a really slow process, because basically how it works when you're a business our size, and basically we have to make money in the back and take that money in the back to put it into the storefront to have products to sell.
Absolutely.
And so that's how we operate. The back is what really, our profit margin's a lot better back there. Honestly, the storefront, our profit margins are very minimal. The highest markup we have on anything in the storefront is 30%.
Yep.
And I think that's very fair, very reasonable.
Oh,
our guns aren't even remotely close to that. We don't.
Well, I was going to elaborate on that, and Chase is going to talk about that because he's just too modest, to be honest with you. But I'm not just saying this; it's just a fact. If anybody wants to go around, we have some of the best gun prices probably in the state, even compared to some of the big box stores. Because, and we tell people this, we don't have to rely on the storefront to keep the shop open.
Yep.
The shop keeps the shop open. The back keeps the shop open. The custom gun work keeps the shop open. The gun sales are just an added bonus. But our markup on guns, our prices on guns, even compared to some of the big box stores in the state, are extremely competitive, if not better. I don't think.
Well, and that's the thing, there's some places we just can't compete with, like Atwoods and
Yeah.
Walmart. You know what I mean? When Atwoods does their sales, people
Yeah.
call us and ask if we match prices. A lot of times, like
We're already cheaper.
Especially Walmart, we're already that price.
Yeah.
Or we just can't match it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes they'll put guns on sale for less than our cost. Like Palmetto State Armory is a big one that does that.
Yeah.
And basically what they do is they're just so big, they'll buy 300 of these guns, and then when they sell 200 of them and make their profit, then they sell the other 100 just to get rid of them for less than what they got in them, just to get them out
space.
to move something else and get different. You know what I mean? That's how they do that. We buy 2 guns at a time at the most because we just don't have the room to store them and have multiple at a time.
Unless it's a Ruger Gen 2 Ranch 350 Legend, we'll buy 10 or 12.
We will buy as many as they will give us. Yes, we will.
Or 400 Legend. If you got one, we'll buy it.
Yeah, we will buy. And that's the funny thing was, we're a little bitty store out of Centerville, Arkansas. And anytime any of our distributors get a 350 Legend or 400 Legend, they're calling us first call. Hey, you want these? Yep. We'll take every one you got. And
we were the number one gun sales store for a couple of our distributors.
Yeah, two of them. We've been the number one
in the state. Yeah,
gun. No, as I don't know, they do different states.
Okay.
They'll do Louisiana, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, their region. And we were the number one for 2 distributors this fall as far as sales.
Straight wall season was good for the shop.
Straight wall,
thank you,
Arkansas Game and Fish. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah, straight wall season was definitely huge for us. We had one of the biggest.
I think it will be again next year too, because there were a lot of people that didn't dive off in it this year.
Or we're waiting on Gen 2s.
They're waiting on Gen 2s. You know what I mean? That should get better. But
we hope.
But I think next year we'll be primed up to buy a straight wall and get out there, especially when they saw their buddy, not have to pick the muzzleloader up and deal with the whole muzzleloader deal. And I think there'll be a lot more people. But
and that's another thing that's been nice is just for many years we get about 30 still loaded from last year muzzleloaders that we got to clean and try to fire and get cleaned up and punch.
Not that we won't work on them, but muzzleloaders. Not fun to see coming in the shop, especially when they're double loaded.
Yeah,
don't know if they're loaded.
Yeah, it's, all kinds of, you can just pretty much guarantee if a muzzleloader comes in the shop, it's still loaded.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's
so Cerakoting, hydro dipping, machining has really expanded for the shop this year. You talk about that real quick, kind of highlight the machining services we're offering now. Chase just recently finished a machining school, so. Everything that he was able to do, he's doing more now and doing the things he was doing probably a little bit better, more refined. So
definitely, obviously the more comfortable I get, trying new things, different crownings that work better with threaded barrels, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. It's just adapting and overcoming, you know what I mean. You learn different things, and I think that's what makes us such a different gun shop than most, is because like me and you especially, we care so much about hunting and guns and stuff. Like we'll go home and just think about stuff or research stuff on our own. Like, man, you just like the 6mm art thing that we're on right now. You know what I mean?
Chase is coming around too.
Listen, I'm not a Wildcat cartridge guy, but I'm thinking about it.
He's not going to tell you he likes it though.
But likes it. Stuff like that, we do the research on our own because we get excited about things still, and we want to do different things, and so we'll do the research, and I think that's what makes people come in our shop more and to talk to us, is because we're not your gun shop where you go into and ask a question like, man, I don't know, I don't.
Hey, if I don't know, I'll tell you.
Yeah, we're going to tell you we don't know.
But
we're probably going to do the research to find out. The way when we get asked that question next time.
Absolutely.
But people come in for the knowledge base that we have of firearms in general, because we've done everything. I've done everything from military aspects to hunting aspects, and built military style weapons to hunting style weapons. A little bit of everything.
Oh, yeah.
I was a competitive pistol shooter for years, and I shot competitively with pistols. So, and that was a aspect that I wasn't super familiar with, and really dug off into and got familiar with. And now we teach concealed carry classes and NRA basic pistol courses, and we do a bunch of that stuff, and really just try to be a part of every aspect of firearms, because it's something we enjoy.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, so if we don't know about it, we're going to research and learn about it. You know,
So thread and barrels, optic cutting slides, pistol slides, drilling, tapping, shotguns for red dots. What's some other machining work we're doing?
yeah, those are probably our biggest
Biggest, yeah.
biggest ones is thread and barrels and optics cuts. You know what
Doing
I
a
mean?
little welding here and there
Oh
as we
yeah,
need to. But
yeah. We got a TIG welder. We're
hey,
welding parts back
your welding
together.
has gotten a lot better.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
don't say it's ever bad, but
yeah.
welding two sticks of metal together versus welding intricate gun parts are a whole other ball game, and
Yeah,
that's not a
because
easy deal.
yeah,
Mm.
the thing you run into is TIG welding and stuff. You know, you can kind of control your heat, but you know a lot of those small gun parts are only this
Yep.
big, and you're trying to weld two pieces this big back together,
Hmm.
and if you get it too hot, you're melting the whole
Right,
thing.
and then your part's gone.
And then your part's
Yep.
gone.
Which future plans? We get a CNC machine
We got
someday.
our
We
own
may be able to
parts.
remanufacture our own
Yeah,
parts. Exactly.
that's literally the only thing holding us up at this point as far as gunsmithing and machining is if if we can't fix a gun, it's because we can't get a part for
Yeah.
it.
Right.
That's the only way
Yeah.
we're not fixing a
Mm-hmm.
gun.
Yep.
And we want to combat that eventually with a CNC machine. But like I said, our machining is going well right now, and we're threading a lot of barrels every week. We're doing optics cuts. I got multiple to do. Before my hand surgery next week. And it's everything's been going good, man. I
And
can't really complain.
awesome. The
We're
laser's been big.
laser,
Yeah.
our laser, Graham. You have done a
I
absolute
appreciate
killer
that.
job
Thank you.
with the laser. When I brought Graham on board, I had taken some laser classes and paid. So everything that we've done, I've gotten to the point where I just pay for myself to go to school for it, and I try to learn it and do everything myself. There's everything we do in the shop I can do, and I can be a part of. But really, Graham has done a great job. When he come on board, I wanted to ramp up the laser stuff and get it going more and more, and Graham really took it over and ran with it. He does things that I absolutely cannot do with the laser anymore,
Well, you
which is
just
literally the only thing in the shop that
yeah,
somebody's better than me at. I'm just being,
yeah,
and that's
it's
just
true.
how it
But
is because I've done everything for so
yeah,
long. But I'm also not a huge electronic guy,
you also didn't have time.
and I really didn't
You didn't
have
have
time.
time to learn it. And
Too many
I
irons in
was
the fire.
fortunate enough to come in, and when we still had full time gunsmith there, and I was able to devote the time to learn the laser. That it would just never happen with you, man. You had too many irons in the fire. But I
Yeah,
appreciate you saying that, and it's been fun. It was very frustrating at first.
yeah,
Now it's to a point now where new things we don't know how to do, and hey, wonder if we could do this on a laser. It's enjoyable because we're a lot more confident with it. But man, for those that don't know, the laser is just the possibilities are unreal. Like we can do everything from laser engraving on firearms to I just did some Zippo lighters the other day that were awesome. I really wasn't that excited, honestly, about doing them when they first brought them. When I got done, they looked awesome. Knives to, I mean, anything. We can laser engrave. We
he
can
loves cups. If you bring
love
all the
laser
cups.
engraving cups.
We really truly try to stick to the
Yeah,
firearms industry and stuff like that.
but we'll do some cups.
We do some cups for Christmas time and some Zippo
Yeah,
lighters and
which the
not
Zippos actually turned out really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, they were cool.
And knives really are kind of
Yeah,
a part of our industry
yeah.
anyway. So we don't mind doing knives, something that's related to our industry.
Laser engraving Cerakote is something that we're doing quite a bit of and want to do more and more of. And really, the only reason why we haven't done more of it is because we hadn't had time with Christmas. But putting 2 layers of Cerakote, one down, one on top of it. I'm able to laser engrave right through the top layer, an intricate pattern like a topo design or just anything, and have that second layer show through. It looks really cool and it's super precise. I think that's another avenue. Laser engraving pistols, deep engraving pistols, and 1911s. The possibilities are endless.
The scroll work that you've done on some of the
Scroll work,
1911s and
yep,
stuff, where you deep engrave the scrolling, make it look like
yep,
some of the really high dollar old
yep.
school.
And I'm sure there's some
You know,
ideas out there that our customers may have that we haven't even thought of. Bring them to us. Let us see it. We're up for a
yeah,
challenge. If we can't do it or I can't figure it out or do it, I'll tell you. I'm not going to mess your gun up. Do it.
yeah.
Or whatever product it
Well, here's
is.
the deal: 90% of the time, we'll tell you we can do it,
Yeah.
and then we go get our personal gun and try it 15,000 times
And
until
then
we
we'll
get it
do it.
right, and then
Yep.
we'll do it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? That's the thing. Over over the years, there's been so many times, I've had customers be like, "Hey, you ever worked in this gun before?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, no, I haven't, but I'm going to figure it out."
Yep.
And the thing is, if I told you no, then you probably wouldn't leave it with me. But I've never, ever gave a customer a gun back that I've screwed up or something and not made it right. I always offer to make it right if anything happens or anything like that. And it's just like our gunsmithing. If you bring a gun to us and want it fixed and we end up not being able to fix it, it don't matter if I spend 3 days on it. I'm not charging you a single dime.
Yeah.
That's just our policy. That's how we do it. I grew up extremely poor, and I realize money is important to people, and I don't want to do anything to make them lose money or have anything.
No.
If I don't offer them a service that they can appreciate, then I don't feel right charging them money, and that's just how it is.
After all, of course, all the other services we've talked about, we're offering now. We even have kind of worked out as at one point started working out as to help a buddy out, and now it's worked out to I can't imagine him not having there. We have an in-house leather guy. Shout out to Joe Kennedy. We love Joe to death, the Dying Breed Leather Company. Not only has he been an asset to the shop, but he's a good friend, good man, and I enjoy having him there every day. He's a phenomenal artist. I think he's up both of our game a little bit. Things that we've wanted to do in Cerakoting or artwork design, even some freehanded stuff that we weren't confident in doing. Joe has showed us and had ideas. I think that's really elevated the shop overall. But he's in there in-house now all the time with all his leather.
Yeah, he can literally, man, if it has to do with leather, he can
he's
do
the
it.
man.
He can literally do anything. He made a custom chest holster that held the suppressor and everything on this pistol
literally
for a giveaway gun that we did.
Saddle tack to purses, which Joe loves making purses. He loves them. Saddle tack to purses to holsters to knife sheaths to, if it's made out of leather and if he's got the time, he can make it. Yeah, and he's not going to just make anything simple. No. It's going to come out, and he's going to hand tool some.
The coon he just done on insane. The sling is just. Yeah. He's just an artist, and that's the thing. That's the thing. Like he said, he's helped us out a lot with some stuff. Even for me, Cerakoting, he'd be like, "Man, if you did this a little this way." You know what I mean? He just has an artist mindset.
Perspective.
Just, he's just
when I'm building scenes to engrave on the side of a gun, looking back before Joe came and look at some of those scenes and then looking at them now, it's my depth and perspective on those scenes is 10 times better just because of Joe's input. And I'm not an artist.
Yeah.
We do artistic things, but I'm not an artist at heart, and he's really elevated at it. But if you've never seen any high quality hand tool leather work before, come in the shop and check it out. It's unreal.
He's even done some drawings that we've end up laser engraving on projects.
That's another thing I was fixing to say. Yes, having him in there, he will sit down, hand draw something. I can scan it into the computer, copy it over to Adobe, transfer it to a laser file, and we can literally put that sucker on anything you want from there.
And now we can even put it on a vinyl cutter.
Now we can put it on a vinyl cutter. That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? So.
And I'm telling you, awesome artwork. And it's original stuff. It's original stuff. You're not going to see that stuff anywhere else.
I think that's the biggest deal. I took some art classes when I was younger and stuff like that, and I know the gist of it, but I've never really had that. I've always been the guy that I can take something that I see and create it.
Yep.
But he thinks it.
Absolutely.
He can literally just dream up something and then make it happen on the paper, and that's something that's a God-given talent that you just can't recreate.
Well, Joe, we're thankful to have you there, man. So future plans for the shop. Let's talk about short term and then long-term plans for the shop. What are your short-term future plans for the shop? Where are we trying to go? Where are we wanting to head? What's to be expected? What do you want to do?
Well, we just started the website, so we're working to ramp up some online sales and get a little passive income in there to help us be able to grow the storefront is the main goal. We do plan on getting a CO2 laser to do wood this year. That's probably the number one goal of the year as far as equipment for the shop. Other than that, really our focus is going to be the storefront. growing the storefront to a point where we have more guns in stock and more products in stock for you all to come in and look at.
Suppressors in stock.
More suppressors. Yep. We're working on trying to get as many suppressors as we can. The problem is, like if we got 8 Omega 300s in today,
they'd be gone.
They'd be gone by the end of the day.
Friday, they'd be gone Monday.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's a problem. People's like, oh, you don't have very many suppressors.
Which is great. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great.
But it's just tough for the people that come in, don't know exactly what they want to see, want to hold, want to put them on their gun and walk out to the range and shoot one. We do it all the time. It's tough in that aspect.
Well, and that is one benefit to our gun shop that we haven't discussed, though, is that we do have multiple, like I have an Omega 300, I have a Chimera 300, I have a Hybrid 46, we have a Velos 556.
Usually at the shop all the time.
I at the shop all the time, and we have an outdoor range right outside where you can step outside and shoot these suppressors, or even a handgun that you're thinking about buying. You want to try out a handgun, you go outside and we shoot it. You get to see this thing in real life and shoot this thing. Yep. And make sure you like it and you like the way it sounds or you like the way it shoots or whatever product it is, and try it real time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's another huge benefit for us. We want you to be able
to do that. Yeah. It's not an inconvenience. That's why the range is there. That's why. How many times we offer people to shoot guns a day?
Every day.
Exactly.
Every day. Yep. And
usually it doesn't take a lot of convincing.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Everybody's pretty willing to go shoot gun. You want to shoot this? Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
But no, that's a huge bit, and honestly, that's helped a lot of our suppressor sales.
It absolutely has.
2 years ago, we were the #1 Cerakote dealer in the entire state of Arkansas out of Centerville.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was because that we had an outdoor range there for people to try out and shoot. We sold hundreds and hundreds of suppressors. Last year, our sales, well, I'll say last year, I guess technically 2024 was last year, but the year after that, our suppressor sales went down just because of availability. We just can't get them. Mm-hmm. It's not like, I'm telling you, just like the Omega 300s, if we could get 10 a day, we'd sell all 10 of them.
Yep.
And it's not, unfortunately, we don't manufacture them. We deal a lot with Excalibur out of Mena. They're a great company. We sell a lot of their products, and they're a lot more readily available. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They don't have quite some of the features that Cerakote does. That's why we tend to like them a little better. But both of those two companies are probably our favorite just because of customer service.
Absolutely.
If
had a guy shoot a 4570 through a 45 ACP all aluminum 45 Osprey can.
Yeah.
Blew it to pieces.
Yeah, pieces.
Looked like you'd shot it with a pop can with buckshot. I mean, it was unreal. He brought it in little pieces in the box. Yeah. Sent it to Silencer Co. Had a brand new can in 5 days.
Yep. And that was the customer's fault.
And it was customer's fault.
Absolutely,
he told us. He told us. You know what I mean? And he was honest and told us, and it was. I mean, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I say all the time.
We've shot cans off at the shop. Yep. I'm like, hey, my employee, you know what I mean, didn't screw it on properly, and we shot it off. Hey, man, no problem. We'll send you a new one. No big deal. You know what I mean?
And that's with Silencer Co. and Excalibur both have.
Yeah, Excalibur, same thing. If we have any issues, I'll call Jonathan personally at Excalibur, and he fixed it. We had a baffle strike on one of your suppressors we sent back, and within a week or so, we had a new can.
Upgraded the
and even upgraded the baffles
free,
for us.
Which is very, very, very nice of him.
Yep.
But that's not to say we can get and carry any suppressor
literally
you want.
Any brand suppressor.
And we like a lot of the suppressors. However, if you come in the shop and you ask us our opinion and what we run or what we would recommend, more times than not, if it's a rimfire can, I'm going to steer you to an Excalibur. If it's a centerfire can, I'm probably going to talk about Silencer Co.
Yeah, and again, it's products that we personally use and personally run. Dead Air makes really good products. Absolutely. Surefire makes really good products. Rugged, Q makes phenomenal products.
Very interested in this new Q Southpaw.
Yeah, the Southpaw coming out. Yep, that's going to be a good one to shoot. Yep. And that's another thing. A lot of times we will buy stuff like that and try it out for y'all do a video like the Polonium. We done a video on the Polonium.
We're going to tell you what we think. Even though it's a highly. So you get on YouTube, you start researching stuff. You guys have went into it. We ran into it. You see the hype of something. I'm not talking about just suppressors, but anything. Then you get it in real life, try it out, and it's not always quite what it was pumped up to be.
No,
that's very common in suppressors.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's a lot of these videos are being paid, or a lot of these guys just like the hype. or that's the cool hype thing right now. Well, maybe they just haven't heard the Velos. But there are a lot of 5.56 cans that we have tried that are like, man, this is supposed to be the cat's meow. Get it in. And it's like, I mean, it's all right, but
we've heard a lot of people say, and a lot of people talk about we're talking about 5.56 because that's probably the hardest thing to suppress.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
300 blackout, 308, everybody can suppress that.
Right.
It don't matter if you buy the cheapest can on the market, you're going to be able to suppress a 300 blackout.
Yeah.
Okay. Now 5.56, that's something extremely hard to suppress because it's such a fast
That's
bullet.
a real litmus test for a lot of cans. Yeah.
And, we have shot a lot of 5.56 cans, and just nothing so far has come close to the Velos.
No.
And you know what I mean? It's a flow through can, and I get that, it's probably a little louder downrange.
Still a lot of good cans out there, but as far as actually comfortability at the ear with no ear pro for the shooter, if I was going to buy one tomorrow and a 5.56, it'd be the Velos. It's not even close, really, honestly.
Close. But again, that's we bought it, we've tried it, we've shot them. We test out cans there at the shop. We do all this to make sure that we're giving our customers the best product that we feel like. And if it's a product that we like, the rugged cans, for instance, somebody asked us about the rugged cans, we're like, we don't know. We have yet to shoot one.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Anybody's got one in the safe right now to let us shoot it?
We'd
be glad to test
We'd love to test it out.
Call the shop and let us know. But we're not going to shoot somebody's can that we don't have permission to shoot, and we're also not going to give our opinion on something that we don't.
Exactly, something that we've never actually shot.
I've heard great things about the Alaskan Rugged.
Yep.
So, as you can tell, we get real excited, or not excited. We like to talk about suppressors quite a bit because they're cool, man. They are cool, yeah, and they're kind of probably one of the things on the firearm industry right now that is, I say, new, cutting edge, leading. They're really hitting mainstream right now. Well, and the technology in it is probably the technology suppressors are probably quicker growing right now in that niche of firearms than really anything else. Not to say there's not growth in other places.
3D printing stuff out of Iconal and or Inconel.
It's a competitive market right now.
It is. It's very competitive. But the biggest thing is I think the misinformation about suppressors.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? For years and years, there's so much misinformation about suppressors. Oh, you have to do all this and do all that, and you have to have a trust, and you have to do this, and they're so complicated, and I'll never get one, and I have to pay all this money. But here's the reality of it. You come into our shop. You spend 20 minutes. We help you with all the paperwork. We roll your fingerprints right there, and you pay a one-time tax stamp for that suppressor of $200 to the government, and you're out the door.
And you're done.
Most of our suppressors are coming back within 2 weeks right now and getting approved.
And you're not running all over town.
And you're not running all over town.
We do everything in the shop. It's really not that big of a deal.
It is not a complicated deal. Now, granted, you pay that $200 tax stamp on every suppressor you buy. But every suppressor that we sell, and pretty much it's out there at all, period, is a lifetime warranty suppressor. So you buy it once, and you never have to buy it again. Now, granted, once you become a tax stamp owner, you want to become a tax stamp collector, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want one on every gun you got because it's an addictive thing, you know what I mean?
How many times has somebody came in the shop and say, I want the buy once, cry once suppressor that I can run on all my guns? And great in theory. And some people do it.
Hey, they buy a lot of hybrid 46s, a lot of them.
We sell them one in 6 months. They're back buying another.
They're back to buying another can. As soon as they get approved and they shoot that thing, they're coming back for another.
All right. Well, I'd like to just leave one on.
Exactly. They want to leave one on every gun. You know what I mean? And there is some good stuff out there, like the ASR muzzle brakes that makes it quick detach, where you can put on multiple guns very easily and stuff like that. And Excalibur is even doing that now too, where you can run it on the ASR muzzle brakes. Dead Air has the chemo attachments and all that stuff, and Rugged has their own system. So there is stuff where you can quick attach it to other guns, but just like we talk about, if you run a 46 caliber can and put it on a 223, it's not going to be as quiet as a dedicated 223 can. So eventually you're going to want to fine tune everything and get different cans for different applications.
My suggestion would be, if anybody listening, you don't own a can, you're wanting to get in the market and you own lots of guns, buy a rimfire can for your rimfire guns and a good high quality do-it-all 30 cal can for your centerfire guns to start out with. That'll give you a lot of good basis. You can run it on all your rimfire stuff, and they're fairly cheap, $250 to $300, for a good rimfire can. And then one good 30 cal can.
Yep.
It's good, versatile.
Well, the rimfire is like the gateway drug.
Yeah,
you know what
right.
I mean?
That's
Like,
get you started. Yeah,
yeah,
get you a
yeah,
taste of it.
yeah.
That's
It's real cheap, man. You're real cheap. $220.
that's
You buy a
it, man.
rimfire
That's
can,
it. It's
and
not gonna
then
hurt anybody.
yeah, it's not going to hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
It's a good time.
Then 2 weeks later, you're like, all right, I'm ready to spend
Yeah,
$1,000.
yeah,
You know what I mean? You're like, oh man,
yeah.
this escalated quickly. You know?
But if you're new to suppressors, that's what I would look at. But okay, so long-term plans for the shop. We're looking 10 years down the road. Where do you want 3H Tactical? What would you ideally like 3H Tactical to be at?
I think I really like where we're at. I own the farm where we're at. I own the shop, and we're in a good position out there. But I think eventually, a storefront in town would be something we would look into. Obviously, like I said, we're going through a lot of growing pains now, and we really need to add some employees in certain areas so we can be able to expand. I think that's the hardest thing in our industry is finding people. There's not gunsmiths on the streets. You know what I mean? There's not Cerakoters on the streets. There's not. It's a very niche. System and career choice that really, unless you're already doing it, you're probably not. You know what I mean? It's hard to find somebody with experience, and it's really hard for me to train somebody because we're so busy. For me to take time to train somebody to do something, is a lot.
It's hard to find somebody with the background knowledge to come in and have the basis, and then still be able to either have Cerakoting ability or machining ability or
realistically, we could definitely
we could train somebody.
We could hire a machinist today.
Absolutely.
If I knew somebody that could come in, hit the ground running, and just take over machining. Not that I don't enjoy it. I truly enjoy it. It's something new for me. Something I've been doing for 6 months now, as a trained machinist, and I'm enjoying everything I'm learning, and I enjoy it. But the problem is I have so many different things going on at the shop. Right now I am a part of the business instead of working on the business. You know what I mean? And we eventually need to grow to the point, and until we do that, we can't really do the storefront. But the goal is to eventually have a storefront,
bigger storefront,
a bigger storefront in town, something easier for y'all to access, and then turn our current shop into the workshop. So the entire
somewhere where you walk in, you get the storefront feel. It's bigger aisles with a few shelves with more products, and then dedicated people to run it. Whether that be me or you or me or you and somebody else, dedicated people there all the time behind the counter, undivided attention to the customers, not worried about stuff in the back, taking in guns, taking in work, but also running the storefront. Yeah, that would be awesome.
And like I said, that would be, a lot of times we have some of the fastest turnaround times, I feel like, in the gun industry, period.
Oh, absolutely.
There's not
normally
very many places.
Holidays aside, or middle of turkey season, or middle of gun deer season aside, we're looking at a 2-week turnaround most of the time.
2 to 3 weeks on pretty much everything we do, which for Cerakote projects and stuff like that, that's pretty much unheard of in the industry, having 2 to 3 week turnaround times. And it's not from lack of customers. It's from just us hitting it nonstop. I worked, 12 hours a day most days, 7 days a week working, and but the biggest thing for us is just, when we're up there helping customers and stuff, we're getting behind in the back in their current situation. So, in order to combat lead times in the future as we grow and get more and more and busier, we would eventually like to separate the two and have a storefront where we can really focus on our time with the customers and be personable with them and really enjoy spending time with them, and then not have to be concerned with, hey, we need to get stuff done in the back. Eventually we want people working at our workshop all day long, unbothered, untouched,
more
getting
efficient.
work done, more efficient, more focused, less issues, you know what I mean? Less mistakes, because they can focus on what they're doing, and then eventually you have a storefront separate.
When's the last time you started a project that you've got to start it and finish it from start to finish without stopping and go up front?
Not during store hours. Absolutely not during store hours.
So that's what we're talking about. Just being more efficient with the work in the shop, and that would allow us being more devoted and focused on customers in the storefront.
And listen, hey, I'm I know a lot of times y'all may feel like I don't care or feel like I don't want to talk to y'all or something because we have that nice window in the back where you can see everybody and see what we're doing in the back when you're at the storefront, which a lot of people like.
We like,
But you see me back there and I'll just kind of wave or nod my head and acknowledge you're up there and then not come up there and talk to you. It's not because I don't want to. Trust me. I'd much rather go up there and talk to you than be working my butt off in the back or sweating back there or whatever we're doing.
I think most people understand that.
I hope most people do. You know what I mean? But
and if not,
that's why we're doing
now.
this. You know what I mean? That's why we're talking about this.
Exactly.
It's just
we should be at the shop working right now.
Yeah, we
think it's important
be.
enough to be here to do this. Number one, I'd be lying if I said we looked forward to doing this. Something would be fun and we'd enjoy. And working with the guys at River Valley Town Square, they've been awesome. But definitely wanted to work with them. But the podcast is something we've talked about for a while now. Yep. But also, we thought it was important enough to take time out of the schedule of the day and the flow and the shop work of the day to come do this to connect with the customers.
Exactly. Yep. And like I said, it by no means do I not want to come out there and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
It's just some projects, especially machining, I can't stop in the middle of. If I'm in the middle of Cerakoting project, I can't stop in the middle of it. Hydro dipping, can't stop in the middle of it. Some of those things, and a lot of times for many years, see, that's what a lot of people don't think about and understand. The first year of business, when I pretty much ran the entire thing on my own, my wife helped a little bit, and we had Rick back then. Rick's still with us. They helped a little bit, but I was having, they really couldn't do a lot in the back. Angel worked on the laser a little bit and helped with some Cerakoting. But if I was up front talking to customers all day, I would have to work all night long after I shut the doors at 5:30 to get all this work done. Mm-hmm. I'd be there till literally midnight every night trying to get work done because I couldn't be in the back working. Yep. You know what I mean? And so that's why now, I do spend a lot of time in the back because there's so much intricate stuff that I have to do that other guys can't do, you know what I mean? Or they're busy doing their projects like you on the laser. I mean, the laser's gotten so busy, that's pretty much all you do anymore. Yeah.
Which is good.
And we had intentions on you helping with Cerakote and doing other things
and everything else.
Hydro dipping and everything else. But that's the goal. That's the goal. We're talking about the future of 3H Tactical. The future of 3H Tactical is to have a guy hydro dipping, a guy Cerakoting, a guy laser engraving, a guy machining, a couple guys in the storefront helping customers, a guy in each position. We got Joe doing a great job on leather. Yeah, hooked up every day on that project. You know what I mean? And that's how we get to efficient. You know what I mean?
And we plan on bringing some guests in on future shows too. Joe, I'd love to have Joe in.
Yep, Rick's full time with us again.
I think everybody would love listening to and talking to Joe, but some local people too. We've got some ideas of some people we hadn't reached out to yet, but definitely bringing some other people on. We don't want it to be just 3H. We want other guys, to come in here, other guys that are a part of the firearm industry and the gun world around here. We have a great relationship with everybody around here, or at least, I feel like we do. And I think anybody has some suggestions on us too that we should bring in, holler at us. I'm up for suggestions.
Definitely open.
Or anybody wants to come on the show, that's and talk with us, that's worked with us before or anything, holler at us. We're open for suggestions for sure.
I think that's another big thing too, is that we literally try to work with every gun shop around here and stuff, and we try to be cordial with everybody. We don't see anybody as competition. A lot of people have perceived us as competition, and at point in times, but we really, there's enough food on the table for everybody out there. We're not trying to take business from anybody or take over everything. I think everybody
in our area has their niche.
They do. That's what I'm saying.
We're not trying to fill anybody else's niche.
We're not trying to fill anybody's shoes or take anybody's business.
No.
You know what I mean? 90% of these shops around here only sell guns. And, we work with some of them. We work with Fort Chaffee Outfitters in Fort Smith. They are strictly a gun sale shop. We work with them. They've been great to us. We do their Cerakoting, hydro dipping, laser engraving, gunsmithing, Graybeard, in Conway, Graybeard Ammo in Conway. We work with those guys. They're great guys. Arkansas Trading and Loan here in Russellville, 4th Street. Josh Panther's been really good to us. And
Bailey Signature Firearms.
Bailey, Bob. We work with all those guys. And anybody who's willing to work with us, we work with them. That's the point. You know what I mean? We're not out here trying to. Yeah, and we want to, because it's just like Bob. Yeah, we started doing some machining and stuff, but Bob's not getting any younger.
No,
and he
he'll tell you
knows that, and
Yep.
he'll tell you that, and
Yep.
he has been super helpful with us on the
Absolutely.
machining and willing to
That's
help
what
and
I was going
everything
to say.
else.
We have had
and
we were very, very thankful. For Bob.
Yeah.
He has been very helpful, and
and he knows
honestly,
a lot of
sent us
things.
a
He's
lot
been
of
in the
customers.
industry a long time,
Exactly.
and he knows a lot of things. He spent 30
The
years
growing pains
machining.
we've are going through right now. He's been through.
Yeah, he's been through it,
Yep.
and he's still a one-man shop out there, but he wants to retire. He wants to slow down, and he wants to do the stuff that he just truly enjoys doing. You know what I mean? He don't want to have to do stuff. He wants to do stuff that he wants to do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And we love Bob, and Bob's great, and we definitely want to have him on the show.
Absolutely.
For you,
I think that'd
you
be
guys who don't know him, y'all
quite
think
an
you'll definitely
entertaining
get a kick.
show. I think it'd be a very informative
show. Yeah, he has
and
a lot.
I think he could bring a lot
He's
to the
probably
table.
he knows more about the NFA and suppressor world than the NFA does themselves.
Right. Listen,
90% of the time you call up there and you try to answer a question, you get 5 different answers. You know what I mean? Bob probably knows more than most of the ATF and NFA agents out there.
Yep. Listen, Bob was talking about dealing with and doing barrel threading, suppressors, full auto guns, things, NFA items around here before people even realized you could do it.
Yeah, before you could even do it.
Or were talking about it.
Yeah,
Or even thought it was suppressors were a common weren't a taboo thing, weren't a common thing. Bob was doing it then, so absolutely a lot of respect for Bob. So, all right, so kind of winding down the show here. I got some questions for you, Chase.
Okay.
The people might want to know.
Some little Q&F.
A little Q, yeah. So
Q&A, I guess
Q&A, yeah.
Questions and answers.
So EDC.
Yep.
What is Chase Holt, the owner of 3H Tactical? What is his EDC?
I carry a Sig Sauer macro 9mm, the X macro. Mine does have the ports on the front. They make a model that doesn't have the comp with the ports on the top of the slide. But I do run the comp just because it does help with muzzle rise and everything. For a concealed carry gun, probably not necessary. But you know what I mean. I'm kind of
a concealed carry 9 is still a little snappy.
Yeah. Well, the theme of 3H Tactical is don't be basic.
Don't be basic, yep.
Don't ever settle for
How
basic.
How many times
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Chase does get aggravated with that too. Someone will come in with just a simple, all I want is just somebody's name on the side of a gun. I'm like, I can't do that. I got to church it up a little bit more than that.
It does get aggravating because I'm like, just put the name on there. Just put the name
on. Get it out of here.
Let's go. We got other things to do.
But everybody can do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes Graham great on the laser is because he does take the time to do stuff like that and he really customize and make stuff personable. You know what I mean? That is literally our business model is we don't want people to have basic guns. You know what I mean?
So Sig macro.
Yep.
Optic, red dots.
I don't run an optic.
Why?
Because I feel like
back to the competition days, or
so in the competition days, I did run an optic.
Oh, okay.
On some occasions, but I was always better with a iron sights.
Okay.
I always shot better. Definitely faster time on target for initial shots. Excuse me. You can definitely train and get faster with a dot, and target transitions with a dot are much faster.
Yeah.
But initial time on target is definitely faster with iron sights, unless you practice a lot.
Realistically, EDC, self-defense, time on target is probably way more important than transition. Hopefully.
Here's the reality of it is the dot's nice, but you need to train to the point where your gun literally just points where you're looking, and you don't even have to aim. When I shot competitively, I don't like, and you talked to a lot of competitive shooters, Jerry Mitchlick, all the great ones. They don't look at their sights. They don't even look at their sights. You're point shooting, and it's just you've shot so many thousands and thousands of rounds that you literally don't even have to look at your sights. You've seen me do at the shop. I've taken a pistol that literally didn't even have sights on it because we just Cerakoted it, went out there and test fired it, and it hit cans or even shotgun shells this big around. And it's just because I've shot so many thousands and thousands of rounds. That's the most important part of concealed carrying is time on target.
Absolutely.
And rounds down range. You know what I mean? It's not the coolest red dot or the coolest features or the nicest gun or whatever it is.
Oh no, absolutely not.
It's
Time
being
behind the gun is
comfortable with
best.
the
Yep.
gun you're using, and that's why we tell
There may be
people
some of those things may make someone who's already a good shooter maybe a hair better, or maybe a hair quicker, or shave time here or there. But yeah, you're exactly right. Time behind the gun, and time behind the gun, ammo down range is
That's
number
essential,
one.
and that's why we get people come in all the time like, well, what gun do you recommend? Well, yeah, just because I shoot this gun doesn't mean it's perfect for you.
Right.
And that's why we
And
have
we're in
the
a
outdoor
scenario
range.
we could carry anything from. We could carry a full-size Commander 1911 45 every day if we want to.
Yeah, we could
because we work at a gun shop.
We work at a gun shop.
Right.
Not
everybody can do that. So no optic, weapon light. You running light?
I do run a weapon light.
Okay.
Yep.
What light you running?
Right now the nightstick has been super popular. It seems to be, we've been running nightsticks for a while, carrying them in the shop and everything, and they seem to be just as good as quality as Surefire Streamlight for about half the price.
Yep.
So I do love my Surefires. I still run a Surefire on my CZ brand, you know what I mean? They're very durable. They're great lights. But if you do want to save some money, the nightsticks have been awesome. We sell a bunch of them in the shop, and they've been super good. But yeah, it's I carry that because, listen, bad things happen at night.
Exactly.
So if you don't have a light, then you're pretty much
and target ID.
Target ID. Yep.
What ammo are you running in it?
I run the Hornady Critical Defense.
Critical Defense. Okay.
Yep. Sometimes the Critical Defense I try to stay away from because it does have the rubber tips, and sometimes it'll catch when you're. So certain guns, you want to stay away from that, and probably run like the Hornady American Gunners are great because they're just solid.
The XTP
hollow points, or not solid hollow points, but they don't have the rubber insert in them.
Yep.
Because the rubber insert does catch on feed ramps sometimes and does cause some feeding issues. But luckily mine runs it good, and it's very good ammo. We love Hornady ammo, you know what I mean? And it's probably our favorite.
All right. Favorite Cerakote color or pattern? Two-way question. Favorite Cerakote color. You have to take your favorite gun in your closet, and you have to go paint it one solid color, which I know hurts you to say. What color are you painting it?
Solid color. Man, I really probably like the smoke bronze.
Smoke bronze, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Smoke bronze is really cool. Goes with a lot of different camo patterns, and we use it a lot at the shop. All the bronzes have been super popular. Midnight bronze, burnt bronze, smoke bronze. I mean, we paint tons and tons of it every year. And the thing about that, it's not your standard flat dark earth or coyote tan or patriot brown that everybody's been doing for years. It has that metallic flake in there, so it gives it that kind of pop.
And it goes together with furniture, everything.
We just done a gun with old school Nat gear, and that smoke bronze looks amazing.
It does look amazing.
It looks really good, and it's not too much of a pop where turkeys are going to see it or anything like that. It just looks good to the eye, and it's super popular, man. We really enjoyed doing that.
Least favorite Cerakote color?
Stormtrooper white. No question.
Say that.
No questions asked.
As soon as you pull the gun out of the oven and you put it together, it looks great for about 3 hours.
I literally, every time I'm putting a gun together at Stormtrooper white, I wipe it off. I'm like, oh no, I got black on it, and I have to keep wiping it.
Everywhere.
It's just, and it don't matter if your hands are clean as possible. If you grip a storm, we're doing one right now for Fort Chaffee.
Absolutely.
And
it's
listen,
gonna look cool.
It's going to look cool
if they hang it up on the wall.
Yeah. It's not super good for everyday carry, and it's actually a really finicky color to work with as far as Cerakote too. If you don't get the mixtures right and the temp right, and
the temp will be different.
Yeah, it's very hard to deal with. You know what I mean? It's all
right.
But
favorite Cerakote camo pattern, favorite favorite pattern. Period. Camo pattern, whatever pattern.
As far as me doing it?
No.
Because I don't enjoy doing a lot of cool.
As far as outcome on a product, what it looks like and what you like the best. What you think looks really good.
Probably my favorite job I've ever done is that 7-color multicam job we did on a whole.
See, I thought you were going to say dark chocolate chip.
I do like. Now I do want to do a dark chocolate chip. It's probably going to be very cool, and I do. The chocolate chip job I did do looked really good, and I really enjoyed it. I always wanted to do one. I finally done one, and it was super popular. the new webbing we're doing to match, like, your fancy high dollar Bagaras and everything else. That webbing that we figured out able to do, that's super cool. I really enjoyed doing that.
So what he's talking about is the marbling texture on the side of,
like on the Ruger Gen 2s.
Yep, on the Ruger Gen 2s. Bagara does it often. Yep, that's the chocolate chip right there.
Yep,
yeah,
right there.
Like on the side of the Bagaras, how it has a textured feeling that's different color than the stock. That's what he's talking about, and that is a proprietary mixture of a certain ingredient and Cerakote.
Hey, don't be telling us secrets.
I'm not. I said a certain ingredient and Cerakote that Chase and Joe sat back in the booth one day and literally sprayed it over and over and over, add until they got it just right, and then did a gun for a customer in that. And it was, I think, just in the time I've been there, I think that gun was probably one of the top 2 or 3 guns we've done. It was clean and simple, but it was sick. It was nice. The customer was super pumped about it. Now I've secretly been wanting a gun of my own in that sense. But
I really enjoy doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that's what, like you said, we spent hours and days figuring that out and doing research on our own and doing stuff like that. That I think that's probably the hardest thing about the gun industry is the lack of information.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many things that I've had to figure out on my own over the years and just do the research and trial and error. Costing a lot of money on trial and error, screwing up my own stuff, trying to figure out, you know what I mean? Because, the gunsmithing in the gun world, you can't just make a phone call and be like, hey, man, how'd you do this?
And
you know what I mean? There's not 10,000 YouTube videos out there on how to do things.
And machining in the lathe or in the mill, or in the lasers the same way. It's one of those real scary moments.
Just like the vinyl cutter right now.
Well, I know.
Mean, we tried to YouTube how to use this daggone vinyl cutter.
But we don't have somebody's gun in the vinyl cutter.
That's true.
On the laser or the lathe or the mill, and we're doing something the first time, or even if we've done it 10 times, it's still in the back of your mind. Every time before you hit that go button or before you fire up the lathe, it's still, hey, this is a customer's gun. If this don't turn out right, we're buying a gun. Exactly. There's a lot of pressure sometimes, especially if we haven't done that specific thing over and over.
Machining is probably the scariest thing I've ever done as far as
you get no room for
service in the show. Yeah, because there's no room for error. The Cerakote, we just sandblast the sucker and repaint it.
Right.
Hydro dipping, sandblast the sucker and repaint. Does it suck? Yeah. Absolutely. Does it cost a lot of money when we do that? Yeah. Because here's the reality of it.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Like hydro dipping, for instance. People think our prices are a little high on hydro dipping, but here's the reality of it: the cost of materials. Because here, people see on YouTube somebody hydro dipping, and they just spray some spray paint on the top of the water and then dip something. Yep. That's not a professional job. Okay,
that's gonna last about 6 months.
Yeah, not
if
even
lucky.
Not even. It's going to start peeling and flaking immediately. The thing about our products is we have a actual printed film that has a printed camo pattern and everything else. Like we've had people ask about doing like a black hydro dip. You don't hydro dip solid colors. Yeah. You Cerakote or paint solid colors. Hydro dipping is a film. It's a pattern. So what hydro dipping consists of is we strip the gun down completely, sandblast, take it apart, sandblast it, soak any oils or anything out of it, because if you get any oils on there, same process with Cerakoting. You don't want any oils, so we gas them out in the oven, make sure there's no kind of oils bleeding out of them, because that'll mess up your paint and your quality of your adherence to the product. And then you go into primer, then you paint, then you got to let it dry. Then you paint a solid base coat, whatever color that the film requires or suggests that you lay under it. Then you got to let it dry. Then you hydro dip it in a film. Then you got to let it dry again. And then you clear coat it. And then you put it back together.
It's a 2-day process just to get it to the point where you can actually take the product and dip the film on it. And then it's another day of drying and clear coating. It's a 3-day process if everything goes perfect.
Minimum. Yep, if everything goes perfect. Yep. And when you're paying somebody an hourly rate to do that,
adds up.
And
now, granted, we're trying to do multiple projects at one time,
exactly.
So we're not doing one-off stuff. So that helps. However,
but you have materials of sandblast, you have materials of primer, you have materials of cleaner, you have materials of paint. You have materials of the film itself, which has a lifespan. Yep. We can't just order a 100-meter roll of film and then in a year it goes bad,
Yep.
even though we have a really nice storage system and everything now. And then you have cost of clear coat. That clear coat by Cerakote is outrageously expensive, and the hazmat fee is literally $60 just to get it in my door,
Just to ship it to us.
just to ship it to us. So that's what I'm saying. At $250 on a stock, we're maybe making $100 off that if we dip it right the first time.
Yep.
The very first time.
Yep.
If we have to dip it again, zero money made on that project. So, you know what I mean? That's something we're working on with the hydro dipping. If we can't start, you know, really figuring out a way to make money with it, then, you know what I mean, we're just not doing it as often as we do. It's not something we're ever going to give up, but, you know, it's something that we're definitely going to have to work out the kinks of, because it's probably the most finicky thing that we do. Also, you can do the same project 10 times, and 3 of those times it's going to mess up, even though you've done it the exact same way.
And I think if we had a guy there hired and devoted to do nothing but hydro dipping all the time, that would get better. Right now we're wearing too many hats, and we're having to jump back and forth and figuring out the nuances of every single film and paint and blah, 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 blah. It's a lot of that issue too.
But and this is another reason why we wanted to come on here and talk to y'all, because we want to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, we're never going to lie. We are by no means the best hydro dippers in the state of Arkansas right now. Okay? Just being honest with you. Okay?
No, that's what I was to say. When you get it back, it's going to look good.
It's going to look good, but we may have dipped that sucker 3 times. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? And hey, we're losing money dipping it 3 times, but we try to.
As long as you're happy with that gun, though.
Exactly. We want you to be happy with it. And, you know, and we tell all our customers, if you find something on it that you just can't live with and you don't like, whether it's Cerakoting, hydro dipping, laser engraving, whatever it is, we'll fix it and make it right. We'll redo the entire project.
Yeah.
You know, and we've even redone, I don't like saying this because I don't want to make this a habit, but I've even Cerakoted a gun where the customer picked out the colors, and I said, man, I don't think this will look good. And then we Cerakote it, and he's like, man, you're right, it don't look good. And we redone that job for free, even though he picked the colors and they picked what it was. But, again, don't make a habit of that, because I'm not in the business of losing money.
But we're not going to leave you high and dry.
But we're not going to leave you high and dry. We'll work out a deal for cost or whatever it is. You know what I mean? We want you to be happy is the main thing. And that's our most important deal, because I mean, literally – I still don't have a lot of money in my bank account, actually any at all, really. It's not about that. That's not why I'm here. I could go make $20, $30 an hour, multiple places, and go work. You know, I have a really good background, machining as a background. You know what I mean? I've been gold certified steel technician, ASE certified mechanic. You know what I mean? All this stuff. I could go make $30 an hour anywhere. I'm not making even remotely close to that as a business owner. I'm doing this because I care, and I'm doing this because it's something I enjoy.
That's why.
And I want to see the customers happy. I want to see them, and it's hard to do. You know what I mean? In today's society, where you have the right now world, your Amazon 2-day shipping, people want stuff back in 2 days, and it's definitely tough to combat and tough to make everybody happy. But I want to. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. It may not always happen. But that's what we strive to do and what we want to be.
So I came on board. I left a career that I was absolutely miserable in, and I think I was good at it, but I was miserable at it. And I don't even feel like we come to work and we work all day long and we get a lot done, but it doesn't feel like work. I mean, it's work, and, you know, we're working hard and it's hectic, but it doesn't feel like that work used to feel like. This is satisfying, enjoyable, even hard stuff and stuff that we're doing every day or redoing, or it doesn't work out and we're having to redo it, or whatever it is. Even stress doesn't feel like work. It's enjoyable, and I'm thankful to be there, man. So Chase Holt has a day off of work, no kids, no nothing. What are you doing? Where are you going to do? What do you enjoy? You got one day. Go do something. What are you going to go do?
Well, if I only have one day in the drive, I'm probably going trout fishing on the White River. Probably going trout fishing on the White River. Obviously, my current condition, I just had knee surgery, tore my patella tendon. I can't do nothing right now, and it's killing me. But if I only had one day, and my leg was healed, I would definitely be trout fishing on the White River. Now, if I had a week, I'm going to Colorado.
Oh, I knew that answer. That's why I didn't even ask you.
Yeah, I'm going to Colorado. If I could only do one thing for the rest of my life, it would be elk hunting in Colorado, or just being in Colorado in general. You know what I mean? Because if it ain't elk season, I'm trout fishing out there, because they have some of the best trout fishing waters in the world that I've personally experienced. You know what I mean? And here's the reality: a day off isn't something I have hardly
Nope.
ever.
Nope.
You know what I mean? I have a family of,
Hey, this is just
4 kids and a wife, and the time
this is just an imaginary day.
yeah,
man.
imaginary is right. Yeah, because the reality of it is, the time I don't spend at the shop, I try to spend with my family.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do spend my week to 2 weeks in Colorado every
Yep.
year for myself, but that's the only time I usually get.
Awesome.
So,
All right, man, this has been fun.
been great, man.
Hey,
First
again,
one ever.
First one
Right.
ever. I've been
So
talking about it.
don't be too hard on us.
Yeah.
This is literally our first time.
Yeah.
We did this on a whim.
And if you're friends with me outside of here, I've been talking about podcasts for years. Chase has too. So, this is something I've been excited to do, but hopefully we didn't sound, hopefully it was a little bit informative, didn't rattle too much, but we plan on doing it again.
My voice normally don't sound like this.
Hopefully trying to do what, one a month maybe?
I was thinking more like one every couple weeks. So.
However, these guys may have a different idea after we've been in here this
however
long.
However
often they'll let us in here.
Yeah. They may be like, we're closed this week.
It's not going to work out, guys.
Yeah,
it's
not going to work out.
Booked.
Can't have you in here that often. But no.
All right. Well, it's been fun, man.
Yeah.
All
great.
right. Okay, come
see
see us.
See y'all next time.
We appreciate all our customers. Come see us at the shop. Absolutely.